Good morning to all. A warm greeting from Government First Grade College, Petampadi. Our college is situated in rural area of Puttur Taluk, which is in Dakshin Kannada district of Karnataka. Today, we are organizing a national level webinar on how to write and publish quality research paper. Internal quality assurance cell of the college and the Department of Commerce is going to organize this particular webinar. I'm very happy to find the participants from various states of our nation who are very much willing to take part in this particular webinar. I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Government First Grade College, Betampadi, to this particular national webinar. Now I request our principal, Dr. Varadaraj Chandragiri sir, to address the virtual audience. Sir, Varadaraj Chandragiri sir, over to you. Varadaraj sir, namaste.
Yeah, it's getting connected now.
Varadaraj sir is there.
Yeah, I'm joined now.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Yeah, now I request our principal, Dr. Varadaraj Chandragiri sir, to address the virtual audience. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Friends, I won't take much time. Okay, it is my duty to welcome you all on behalf of our institution. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm happy to note that more than 80 delegates are participating in this webinar. It's nice. How to write a research article and how to publish it in peer-reviewed journal or UGC recommended journals. This is the topic of today's session. Yes, this kind of challenge faced by our new generation lecturers, researchers, and students as well. We used to say that we have a good research sense. Our tradition has taught us a lot. The learning always involves innovation and research, like that. The problem is about methodology, how to present our thought, what is the platform for that, what is the procedure, what are the quality measures. There is a difference between the research of a scientist and the research of a literary scholar. The research in social science is different from marketing survey-based business research. Our new education policies also promotes research culture, which we have to inculcate from even now high school level itself. So I hope this is the right time to discuss on it. And we have a right person with us as resource person to enlighten us on this regard. Mr. Kantesh Sanninganavara. I personally know him, his dedication and his academic caliber. I congratulate him and Hari Prasad, my colleague,
Thank you, sir.
an energetic and power-packed new generation professor. I'm proud of him. He is working as a coordinator of IQAC also. I appreciate him for this type of his initiatives. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಂಕಟಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಬೆಟ್ಟಂಪಾಡಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. All the best for the seminar. Thank you one and all.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wishes to this particular national webinar. Right now, I would like to introduce my beloved friend and the resource person of the today's national level webinar, Dr. Kantesh Sanningamanavar. I'm very happy to introduce him to all of you. Dr. Kantesh is presently working as assistant professor in Department of MBA, Maharani's Women's Commerce and Management College, Mysuru. His master's in both MBA and MCom with finance specialization and cost and management accounting in Inter. He has done his PhD on the topic titled Market Volatility and Investor Behavior from VTU Belagavi in the year 2017. He has total 10 years of experience, of which 2 years in industry and 8 years in teaching. His area of expertise include behavioral studies, volatility modeling and forecasting, stock market efficiency, corporate and assets valuation. He has conducted various training sessions in MBA colleges on research methodology and data analyzing using Excel, SPSS, eViews, and R, in addition to the rendering guest talks on various subjects. He has, to his credit, 20 research papers published in reputed national and international journals, including an Emerald Group Journal, and presented more than 40 research papers in national and international conferences, including India Finance Conference 2017 and 2018, conducted by IIM Bangalore and IIM Calcutta, respectively. This is a brief introduction of today's resource person, Dr. Kantesh Sanningamanavar. Now I request Dr. Kantesh Sanningamanavar to continue with. He is the resource person of today's national level webinar. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Hari Prasad sir, for your generous introduction. I'm so happy for that. First of all, I would like to thank our dynamic leader, Dr. Varadaraj sir, for giving me an opportunity to be part of this wonderful platform where many researchers and teachers and even students would be benefited regarding how to write research papers and how to publish them in a quality journals and all. Thank you so much, Varadaraj sir and his team for a wonderful opportunity. I think you are doing a wonderful job. From last 2-3 months, I'm witnessing there will be one or the other programs from Bettampadi College. You are really serving this nation at a right level, actually, I could say. Wonderful job, and congratulations also, and thank you so much, sir. And at this juncture, let me start what is the agenda for the today. Whatever agenda we have, we will just go ahead with that. Once again, I welcome all the participants who are on virtually joined on Zoom meeting and also on YouTube for today's session. I once again welcome you all. But let me share my screen here first.
Meanwhile, Kantesh sir, with your permission, let me give one instruction to the participants.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I request all the participants to use the chat box very effectively. During the explanation of Dr. Kantesh, if you have anything to ask in connection to his topic, kindly text it in the chat box of YouTube or even the Zoom. We will note down and we will consider it at the end during a question answer session. So I expect very active participation of all the participants in this particular virtual program. Thank you, sir. Kantesh sir, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Hari Prasad sir, one just request. I think
Yes,
so many
sir.
requests are coming to me just as a
Okay.
disturbance. Yeah, it's okay, sir. No problem. If there are any, requests for admitting, you can just take care of them.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. Today we are here to discuss one of the very important topic for all of us, actually, for teacher fraternity, students fraternity, and even for people from industry. The topic is how to write and publish a quality research paper. You may be, thinking that why, we have kept this title for the workshop. It's a need of hour now. Everybody, all the regulators like UGC, AICT, even government has made it very mandatory that, they're very serious in terms of research, especially that to quality research. There are so many people who are in the initial stage. They don't know how to, write research paper and how to go about publishing and all. But in this session, I will assure you that there is something to learn and something to take away. Definitely, let me just set some ground rule for this webinar now, which is going to be around 1 hour, and we'll also have a discussion session. There you can pose me so many questions. Whatever questions you have, you can just pose me out, and we will. I'll take up all of them, right? Let me present, whatever I am going to present now for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And later stage, we will have a Q&A session. Please feel free to, ask any questions you have regarding research. I will be very happy to take up your questions and, clarify your doubts. Okay. And please consider me as your friend. I'm definitely not a trainer, definitely not a pandit, something like that. Whatever I know, I'm definitely, going to tell you that how you can use that for your, subject or your profession and all, right? So you know me, I'm Dr. Kantesh. Already Hari Prasad sir has introduced me. It is just once again a brief introduction of mine. I'm not going to spend much time, but what you can expect from this particular webinar. So one thing I'm very sure that you are going to understand various research concepts. Okay. At the end of this session, you will know what is research, what is research paper, what is different, concepts of research and all. Definitely you are going to learn. And also you would learn means and ways of writing and also, publishing quality research papers. So at the end of this session, I will assure that these two things will be ensured. These things, two things will be transformed to you. Then what I'm going to cover, I'll cover in this session what is research and what is a research paper. I'll cover what is research paper structure, what it is composed of. And there are some general tips for writing a quality research papers that I'll share with you. Then I will also tell you how we can publish a research paper in reputed journal. Okay, so that, and also we'll have a Q&A session. The first question I'm just asking all the participants over here, that why we should write research paper. That is the question I'm just asking. You can just introspect, or you can just think yourself that what is the main purpose of writing a research paper. I have some quotes here. I'll just leave it to you for introspection. Here a quote from Confucius, that is, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. You know that what it is. Then I have another quote here. Learning by doing is the only way I know how to learn. See, if you want to learn something 100%, so you have to do a research. This is also my experience, and this is also experience of thousands, lakhs of people who are involved in research. So if you want to learn something in depth, it is better to involve doing some research in that particular area. So this is one of the reason why we should engage ourselves in doing research. If I am interested in any of the area of study, get into that area, conduct some research, then you will understand what exactly that particular concept is and how it can be applied in the practical world. And this is what I just want to tell you, how things will be post-COVID 2019. You may expect it definitely, these things will happen after COVID 2019. The time will change. This, Atmanirbhar, the self-sufficiency. So we have to be excellent in terms of these skill set, whatever skill set, I have listed over here. Project management skill set, agility, communication, critical thinking, analytical reasoning, emotional intelligence. These are the skill set will be in demand post COVID 2019. It is not your education. Education is supposed to be there, no doubt about it. But we are shifting from education to skill, right? So nobody, will look at what percentage of marks you have scored, what qualification you have got. But if you have these skill set, hereafter, you will be hired. You will survive in the market. That's what we have to now upskill ourselves and keep learning. And we should make learning as our hobby, right? So when here out of 12, that here we have creativity, innovation, analytical reasoning. These all skill set will come only through research. When you involve in yourself, you will definitely have these research, these skill set. These are all results of your research, hardcore research and all. Then other reasons when we want to explore our interested area of study, for example, like behavioral finance and artificial intelligence, e-learning, these are all emerging areas of study now. If you want to explore all these, better we should involve in research. Then when we see research, whenever we conduct research, it gives us some knowledge. So we will share that knowledge to the society, to our the community, student community or teachers community, right? So just sharing of knowledge. When we want to share knowledge, so we should obviously involve in doing research. Then organizing information. So we will learn definitely this kind of attitude, this kind of skill set, organizing information. When you involve in research, you will be posed with a lot of information, a room size information. But you will learn here out of room size information, which to take, which not to take, how to organize it, what to present, right? What to report, what to publish. All this you will learn. So because when you involve in research, you will get a lot of information from various sources, but ultimately which one you are going to report is very important. So that you will learn when you involve in research activity, right? And also, that this time factor is one of the hindrance now all of us are facing, whether it be it a student, faculty members, or even people from industry, right? So when we talk about research, oh, no, research is not part of my job. We always tell this, but things are not like that. Research is supposed to be part of our, profession, especially for teachers and students, I'm telling. The reason is when we involve more and more research, obviously we will learn a lot of things, then only we can teach more. According to me, the best teacher is also a best researcher, right? So when I involve in real-time research, to be knowing what is happening around the world, and the same thing I can teach in the class, right? So that's what, so managing time is very important here. We have to manage like what we have our timetable for classes and all. For research also, we should have a class. If you ask me, we should at least publish 2 research papers in a year. I'm telling you, in a reputed journals. This is supposed to be our agenda for every year, irrespective of whatever it is. Even for students, I'm telling, for students also, it is same thing. Is by the time they come out of college days, if they have around 4 or 5 research papers on their CV, you just imagine what the thoughts will flow into the recruiter's mind, right? So that should be the mindset for even students as well. And industry is demanding us to conduct a lot of research. AICTE is not leaving us, just like that. Even UGC is not leaving us just like that. You see this table, I have taken this from UGC guidelines in the year 2018, which they have published. They have clearly told if you want to get a promotion, what should be your research scores and all, right? So if you want to scale up to next level, now we are an assistant professor, if you want to go to next level, so what should be your research score? 20 every year, right? So from next stage, assistant professors to another level, right? So then it is 50 per assessment year. Like this, it keeps on going. So if you want to meet all these, okay, we have to involve ourselves in research irrespective of whatever place we are in or whatever position we are in, right? So when we involve ourselves in doing research, definitely we can meet all these easily, right? This is what, this is how we supposed to have reasons for conducting research, right? These are just reasons why we should involve in doing research and all. Then what is research is all about, right? So you know this a systematic way of addressing a particular issue or a problem. So it's a very, very simple, okay? There is a problem in the system. We are just addressing that problem in a systematic way. So there is a method, there is a rule, okay? There is a way. So we are using that approach and trying to find out a solution for that problem. We know that we are all facing a problem of this outbreak of COVID 2019, right? So during this time, the entire business, entire economy has collapsed. You know that we have now GDP 23% negative, so which we never expected, right? So there is a big problem in the system now. How to overcome this? That is one of the problem. So we can find out solution, involving in research, right? So many, businesses are facing a lot of problems now. Tourism, hotel business, transportation, logistics, right? Even education system is also facing problem now. So now most of the education institutions are thinking e-learning. Many have already involved. We are all witnessing that, right? So is it feasible for our system? So we can just conduct ourselves for research and find out the solution for this. And another important reason why people do research is an addition to existing knowledge body. So there is, you just imagine there is already knowledge created. So you know how knowledge is created. The knowledge is created only because of researchers. So the knowledge body, whatever we have now, it's a result of, so many contributors, researchers, right? So after I conduct research, I just reflect on my own research that whether I am adding something to that research body or not, knowledge body or not. For example, you just imagine. So this circle is knowledge body of behavioral finance. The circle, whatever I have here, it is just a knowledge body of a finance, behavioral finance. You can consider it or whatever, right? So after I conduct research in behavioral finance, is there any addition I'm making? Is there any addition? For example, after I conduct research, this circle should have a dent like this on its surface, over surface. So what this indicates? This indicates an addition, what I am making through my research. If there is no any dent created on this outer face of circle, then we say that I'm just repeating whatever others have done, that's all. Okay, so research is very simple. Please understand that we are systematically addressing a particular problem in the system. That is one thing. And the second very important thing is after I conduct research, there is some addition made to the existing knowledge body. Your subject is your knowledge body. Okay, your interested area is your knowledge body. My interested area of knowledge body is behavioral finance. When I do my research in behavioral finance, at the end of my research, okay, my knowledge body, whatever we have here, that should get some addition from my research. So this circle should have a dent like this. So this is what the addition, what I'm making. So very, difficult stuff, but we supposed to be like this only. The research supposed to be like this. This is the fact, right? But most of us, even I have made a lot of mistakes in the beginning days that we used to just replicate what others have done, but now you see that things are very different. The reality is very different. The reality is there should be some addition made to the existing knowledge body. Then only your research is recognized, published, and shared across the globe. Otherwise, it is not a research at all. It's just a replication of what others have done. That's all, right? So there is a system, sorry, there is a problem in the system we are trying to address. That is one thing. And we are making some addition to the knowledge body. Why I'm stressing on this, but please better to understand what exactly the research in real terms, right? I hope you understood this. And then what is research paper is all about? The research paper is, we are just reporting. It comprises of findings of research to problem. So when I conduct research, finding out some solution to the problem, I'm just publishing that. I'm just making it available to the people, society, or general public, right? Or a particular audience, right? When for example, when I do some research in terms of economy, now what is happening now, you know that, right? We are facing a lot of economic problems, right? I'm conducting some research in this area and finding out solution, and I'm submitting the same to the government. Right? The government, they will make some policies, rules, regulations based on my research. Right? So here the research paper comprises of findings of a researched problem. Right? So when a researcher publishes or make it available his research findings, okay, then we can say that it's a research paper. And it argues a specific problem, you can see that, and suggests the different solution to that problem based on previous proved ideas. So somebody might have already done research in your area of study, right? But how your research is different from already existing researchers. The same thing will come to know only when you publish, right? So we are making it available to the public, right? That is what the research paper is. So what kind of what kind of topics we can cover? As I said, COVID-19, right? Usage of AI and fintech for better service, right? So these are all very emerging areas of study now. Cryptocurrencies, you know that, modeling of market volatility. So methods of portfolio construction, like this. Every area in HR, transformational leadership. That is what I found. Green HR, right? So digital marketing. Now it is a safe marketing. Earlier it was digital marketing. Now digital plus safe marketing. So these are all emerging areas where we can involve, doing research, right? And when we conduct that research and we make it available to the public, general public. So whomever audience, but we are targeting our audience. All general public may not be our audience, right? But we are just, I'll tell you other things when we discuss about how to publish research paper and all. There I'll tell you how you can go about this. Then what does the research paper composed of? This is very important. All of you should know. The research paper we discussed, and what is research we discussed. But research paper composed of what? What exactly it involves? What exactly it comprised of? So one is, there is a research problem. So this research problem must be there when we conduct research. Right? I'll tell you how you can get that research problem. Then to find out solution for that research problem, we collect some data. It may be primary data, secondary data, or interview data, whatever data, right? So now I have got data. What I will do with that data? I have to analyze that data. So when I analyzing using different statistical tools, you can analyze, then you will get what? Some solution, information you will get. That information will be what? The solution of the problem. It may be, it may not be. Sometimes you conduct research and you will not be in a position to meet whatever solutions, whatever you may not fulfill the problems, whatever you are set in the beginning, right? So this is what exactly the research composed of. So research problem should be there. How we get this research problem? We have to conduct a review of literature, right? Through review of literature only, we will come to know that whether there are any gaps or whether there are any areas which are which are not touched by the existing researchers, right? So that we find out first when we start, doing research. And for this research problem, we try to find out a solution. How to find out a solution? So to find out solution, we have to collect the data, right? So data may be primary or secondary again, right? And when we collect data, we will process the data. Processing data is nothing but analysis of data. Using different statistical tools, we analyze the data collected. So when we analyze the data, we will get solution. That means that information, we will get some output, result will be there. So this result, I will see that whether this is the solution, the result, whatever I get out of data analysis would be solution for the problem. Sometimes it may not be the solution. So when it is solution, I will report the same thing. Yeah, this is what we have got the solution for the existing problem. Sometimes we may not get the solution for the existing problem, whatever problem we are working on. In that case, you can just give some improvements, what future researchers can do that to get an exact solution for the problem, right? Any research you take in social science, so it revolves around these 4 steps. That's all, nothing else. So there is a problem, we collect the data, we analyze the data, and we get the result. That's all. And there should be linkage between all these 4 stuff. Right? This is what the research is all about. Nothing else we do. Right? Then there are some important factors while writing a quality research paper. So what we should consider? So we should consider them. So what we should consider, what factors they are. So first one is coherence, right? So what it means. So we have to maintain, that's what the linkage. Okay, so there should be linkage between your title and the problem. The linkage between your problem and methodology. The linkage between methodology and what you are going to analyze the data. And linkage between data and analysis of data and results. So all this should be interlinked. And also, so when I supposed to include all the necessary information in my research paper, right? The necessary information in the research papers in concerned section. We will discuss what are those concerned sections. And also there should not be any repetitions. So repetitions, sometimes I have seen people, even I have also done sometimes, that whatever I have included, some part, some paragraph in introduction, the same thing I will write in conclusion. That should not happen. There should not be overlapping. There should not be any repetition. So we have to maintain that coherence throughout the research paper. So people should feel that yes, there is a linkage, there is a sequence which is maintained when I'm reporting some results, right? This is one of the main factors we should keep in mind while writing a quality research paper. Then organization. Organization means how we are organizing the data. So you might have heard this IMRD structure. There are 2 structures. One is, this is a common and very generic across the world, IMRD, right? Or it will be sometimes journal specific structure. So for example, if I want to publish a research paper in the Journal of Finance, right? They have their own structure. So I have to follow their own structure and prepare my manuscript, then I have to submit it. Or there is a common structure across the world, that is IMRD, is nothing but introduction, method, results, and discussion. So these 4 sections are integral part of what the research paper. Every research paper should have these 4 sections. Or it may be a journal specific structure. We have to keep in mind what is my introduction section, what is my method section, what is my result section, and what is my discussion section. So we have to follow this structure when we write a quality research paper. And the relevance part. So we should, relevance means here we are conforming to the guidelines. So length guidelines, or their whatever guidelines they give in terms of font, in terms of their number of pages, in terms of write the quality or in English, all these things. And also what we should keep the paper focused on one stuff. There should not be any deviation. we should be very specific in terms of writing what we supposed to write. So paper, we should never lose any focus, right? So that's what it's just conforming to the guidelines, right? And also keeping paper focused on one particular research problem and finding out solution for that problem. And the last one is clarity. This is again very important stuff, that it should be very easy to read. So we have to use a layman and very standard English, nothing more than that. And when the audience read your research paper, they should understand. They should understand what you are trying to tell. They should understand what exactly the problem, what exactly the solution is. There should be some applicability. There should be some implication of your research in the society. So this comes only when the audience are in a position to understand what exactly you have done. Right? So there should be a coherence. There should be a structure in the research paper, right? And there should be a relevance and clarity in terms of both, English, grammar, other things, and in terms of what you are conveying, the subject matter, whatever you are conveying, that should be understood clearly by the audience. So these 4 things we have to keep in mind when we write a quality research paper. And this you understand, I think you see here, just a second. So research paper format, how it looks. So as I said in the previous, just a while ago, that there are 4 different sections. So there is a introduction section is there, right? So it will just tell why we are conducting this particular research. I'll tell you in each section what and all we are supposed to include while writing a research paper. So this is introduction part will be there, then method part will be there, results part will be there, and discussion part. Sometimes, as I said you, there are only 4 sections, but sometimes what we do, we separately write introduction part and review of literature. And also here, sometimes we even separate these 2 things. Discussion supposed to include conclusion part, but sometimes we separate them. But both remain same here. I think they talk about what is the implication of your research. That is what it is going to talk, right? But we'll see. But what we do, okay, apart from this, so in usually in academics we have this structure. So one is so title and affiliation, right? So we'll have a title and affiliations for our research paper, and there will be an abstract and keywords. Introduction part will be there, review of literature will be there, our research design and methodology will be there, then result section, discussions and conclusion, then references. This is the typical format of any standard research paper. You take it across the globe, right? So this is what the typical research paper look like, right? So, but when we write it in more standard format, we will convert all these, I think here from here, all these 6 sections will be put it into 4 sections, right? Or it is as per the guidelines given by concerned journal. Right? We will discuss all these one by one, then you can easily understand. So this is what the anatomy of a scientific research paper. You see that in the initial stage, it looks a very broader view, right? So we discussed things in general, then we come, we narrow down our views on one particular stuff. And at this stage, at the 4th stage, we will exactly know what is our research problem. And you can see that in the first stage, it is just an introduction, right? So it's a broader, what is known for us. And we are just understanding what is the word. Word here means my particular area of study. For example, mine is behavioral finance. I'll understand what is behavioral finance right now, right? Then I will, in the 2nd stage, I will come to know what is unknown, right? It is unknown to me and others also. How I come to know that when I conduct an extensive review of literature, extensive and exhaustive review of literature, when I conduct that, then I will come to know that which is unknown area, right? These are gaps, right? Then what I should do here, how I should fill this particular gap. I'll just narrow it down. So what is known to entire world, what is unknown to any one of us, and right, what exactly we supposed to do. All unknown cannot be addressed, right? All the gaps cannot be filled by me alone, right? So when I conduct a review of literature, I'll come to know in my area of study, there are 10 research gaps, but I cannot address all of them together at one go, right? I can take up one or two, max to max one or two gaps I can take and address through my review, research, but not all those 10, right? So then I'll plan how I can go ahead and address those gaps, fill those gaps. So then I'll come to know the methods, right? Then I'll get a result. So this will be a very specific results. Then I'll keep generalizing those results. Then I'll find out a conclusion. What it is, what my results mean to the world, what my results mean to my specific area, for audience, for economic system, or for society, right? So that's what, when you look at the autonomy of any research paper, scientific research paper here, so it starts from a broader view, then we keep narrowing down till what we reach, what exactly we are going to do, right? Then we get result, then it again broadens, right? So that's what it looks like this, right? This is what typical autonomy of any scientific research if you take. Then we'll go one by one, the format of research paper, a quality research paper. So title part, okay. So I'll show even at the end one of my research papers, which is published in Emerald. How that research paper looks like, I'll just show you. The title supposed to be, your research title supposed to be what? 8 to 15 words. It should not be more than that. Minimum 8 words and maximum 15 words, right? So this is one thing we should keep in mind. And that title, whatever we are keeping it for our research work, should be relevant to the subject what we are discussing about. If I am discussing about behavioral finance or the factors which are influencing on investors' behavior, then the title should be related to that subject itself. It should be very specific. In fact, you should not keep a very general a title, right? Then it should be in a single phrase. So it should not be like a paragraph. So you have to write it in a single phrase. Impact of investors' behavior and so and so. That's all, right? Then we have to also take care of what? The grammar and also capitalization. Some of the journals, they look that the capitalization should be very specific. The first letter should be capitalized, or it should be caption should be very clearly understood and it should be maintained. Right? Then we should avoid writing abbreviations in title. So many of the researchers makes this mistake actually. So we should not actually write abbreviations in the title. Okay, this will send a very wrong, wrong information to the general public or the research audience. Sometimes even journals will not accept these kind of mistakes. So when we write a title for our research paper, we have to follow these guidelines. The very important thing is the title should be between 8 to 15 words, not more than that. I'll show you an example for this, okay? And it should be very relevant to the subject and it should be very specific to what you are, problem you are dealing with. And it should be in a single phrase, okay? So we should not write like paragraphs and all, or we should not write 3 or 4 sentences, something like that. It should not be like that. And we have to also follow a correct grammar part and also capitalization part. And we should avoid using abbreviations in title, but you can use it in different sections, but not in the title part. One thing we should keep in mind when we give a title for our research work. Then affiliation part, this is again very important. So there may be any number of authors. There is no any hard and fast rule for that. But author's name we should write. So here we need not to write professor, doctor, Mr. something. All those title may not be there. I mean, need not to be written, right? The designate few of the journals they ask for designations, but most of the journals won't ask for designations, but they ask institute name and address. And very important thing is if there are more than 2 authors, they'll ask who is corresponding author, the author to whom this communication will be made, acceptance or rejection, or if there is any revision, all these communications will be made. So this we have to very specify in the beginning itself that who is corresponding author, right? And you also should know if there are more than 2 as per UGC guidelines. What is if there are 2 authors for a research paper, you should also take care of your score for API score, right? So if there are 2, you will get 50% each, right? Both of them will get 50% of the marks, right? Suppose your research paper gets 20 marks, okay, based on your impact factor and all. If there are 2 authors in this paper, okay, both of them will get what 10 marks each. If there are more than 2, then it is a problem. The first author will get 70% of this 20. So it means the first author will get 15 marks out of 20, and remaining 2 will get equal. It means 2.5 and 2.5. Just see this, 2.5 and 2.5. Right. So you should also decide that how many number of authors should be there in your research work. There is, again, I'm telling you, there is no any fast and hard rule for that. It depends on how you work in a team, or how, if you want to work alone, you can work. If you want to work in a team, that is also a good thing. But number part, there is no any hard and fast rule for that. Then the next part is abstract and keywords, right? Abstract and keywords. Abstract means what? It's just a brief summary of the entire research work, whatever we have done. The brief summary of the entire research work. So there are, as I said, there are so many sections, right? 4 or 5 sections are there. In each section, what we have written something, right? So summary of that each section I am writing in a paragraph, right? So abstract is a main part of any of the research work. For projects work, we project or for thesis and all, we call it as executive summary, and for research papers we just call it as abstract, right? So what exactly we supposed to write in abstract? We have to clearly mention what is the purpose of our research and what is our main hypothesis. The purpose of our research is what exactly we are going to do in our research. That we have to write in a sentence, and also we have to mention what is our hypothesis. Then we have to clearly mention what is our method. We have to clearly mention what is our method in terms of design, like what type of research we are doing, whether it is an experimental or whether it is an exploratory, whether it is a descriptive research, something like that. And you should also clearly tell what is your sample, what is your data, what are different tests you are using. So the method you have to clearly tell in this format. So in terms of design, sample, data, and tests. And you have to also mention in the abstract in a sentence or 2 results. What exactly are your findings, or what exactly are the results you have got. And the last one is the practical implications of research. So how your research is applied in real world. That is what you have to write in a sentence or 2. But max to max, and also you have to mention how your work is different from existing work, originality. What is, that's what I told you in the beginning. The research is, there is some addition, new addition. Addition itself is a new, right? For the existing knowledge body, right? So there is something addition made by your research to the knowledge body. What is that? What is that you have to write? That also you have to write, right? So these things should be clearly mentioned in abstract, and abstract should be max to max. Abstract should be max to max. How much? It is between 150 words to 250 words. It's a small paragraph of 150 words to 250 words. So it should not be more than that. It should not be lesser than 150. It should not be more than 250. Right. Then, as I said, it is a brief summary of what research we have conducted. So it should be minimum of 150 words and maximum of 250 words. And here we should not interpret anything. We are just telling what exactly we have got. Interpretation, we will do it in the other sections and all. And the last one is that is about abstract. This is very catchy part, okay, of your research. So people will understand what exactly you have done, what is your problem, what is your solution, and what is the implication. I mean, what is your contribution to the existing knowledge body just by reading, this small paragraph of 150 to 250 words, right? And the keywords will help you. So every research paper will have a keywords. It should be a keyword should be minimum of 4 and maximum of 8. It will help the people who search similar. I mean our paper or our research. So they find it very easy when we give the keywords here. For example, if I'm doing a research paper on behavioral finance, so then I'll write behavioral finance, then different tests what I have used, but it should not cross more than 8, right? Minimum 4, maximum 8, and it will also help us to get more citations. So when as a researcher, you might have experienced that when you search research papers published already on a Google Scholar. So, so based on the keywords, whatever you give, it will fetch the research papers. That's what we have to clearly give, very meticulously decide what are our keywords for the research paper, right? But it should comply with what research work we are doing. So you can pick a few of the keywords from title itself, right? And also you can pick few words from your different sections in the research paper. Sometimes you can pick it from methodology, sometimes you can pick it from the introduction part, but there should be at least 1 or 2 keywords from the title itself, right? So this we have to comply very clearly, so that we will be a front runner when people search our research papers in our area of study, and also we will get more citations for this, because they will find it very easy to find out, and also very easy, which is very relevant to their study of research. Then this is very important. Yeah, these are all general part, but the first part, introduction part. So in introduction part, what we supposed to write, right? So many of us get confused what I should include in my introduction part when I write a research paper. Our introduction part should include the purpose of research, the purpose of our study, right? So here purpose means what? We have to identify the problem, right? And once we identify the problem, why this problem is important? I mean, why I should work on this particular problem, right? That will tell you the purpose of study, and you should express this problem, okay, in the introduction part very clearly and concisely. So you should not confuse the audience here. So when you are mentioning or expressing the problem, the research problem, it should be very clear, right? In terms of meaning, I'm telling, in terms of meaning, and it should be very concise, so that the audience catch what exactly you are doing in your research work. And we are also going to describe where this research fits in the current scenario. Right? So what exactly our research is fitting, where exactly it is fitting in the current scenario of my research area. And it uses what? So we are going to use here the primary literature, and we summarize that literature in understanding the problem. So what we do in the introduction part, we are clearly mentioning the purpose of the study. So purpose of the study means when we identify the problem, we also tell that why this problem is important and what is the necessity of finding out solution for this problem. And we are going to express this particular problem in our research very clearly and concisely so that people understand what we are trying to do, what we are trying to find out, right? Then, so usually, as I said, there is no any literature part, something like this when you find out, when you go through a standard research paper, they actually club this literature review part in the introduction part itself. Okay. So, but I'm just for your understanding, I'm just writing it a separate, section. You can, so review of literature is what? The part of progression of research. It's just continuation. Somebody has, left doing research some point and you are continuing that. It shows a progression. People have started doing research very long back and there is a progression happening in your area of study. Right? Then what we do here, we analyze previous research work or the theories which are already developed. Right? Why we supposed to do this? Because we have to understand, we have to identify what is our research problem. So we will come to know that when we analyze the previous research work or theories, we will come to know that what is the gap, research gap, what others have already done and what they have left for future work. That we will come to know in review of literature. And we should be very specific here. I'm telling you once again, we should be very specific. We should not, take all general reviews, right? That's what the gaps are the result of review of literature. Exhaustive and extensive review of literature will give you the gaps in that particular area of study. All right. And hypothesis. So based on the findings of previous researchers, we set the hypothesis, and these hypotheses we try to address in terms of what the data analysis part. And when we refer the various previous research work or theories, okay, it is our bound duty to cite all that properly. So in the body. So citation means we have to give a credit for them. So because it is not my work, others have already done. I'm just telling so and so person has conducted so and so study and he found so and so, right? So when I'm mentioning that in my research review of literature, so I have to cite that who is that person, right? So this is our bound duty to cite all the information, whatever I have referred for my research work, right? I think I'm not going at a high speed, I hope it's okay, no? Any questions so far? Or we'll take up all the questions at the end. Anyway, I'll finish it in another 10-15 minutes, then we'll take up questions personally, don't worry. So then next part is research design and methodology. Research design and methodology will just tell you how we are going to do our research, that's all, right? How we are going to do. So your introduction and review of literature will tell what you are going to do. And the design or method parts will tell you how are you going to conduct this particular research. So this includes various subsections. Subsections means the participants. So participants in terms of what, who are your respondents, right? Whether they are students, employees, or the people or customers, right? How you are sourcing them. So this any information related to participants should be clearly mentioned under design part or methodology part. So design here will tell you whether you are doing an experiment or whether you are doing a survey or whether you are doing an interview or you are just doing an observation. So you have to clearly mention here, right? So if you are doing a survey, okay, what survey you are doing? What tool you are using? So are you using questionnaire, right? So who are your respondents? How are you collecting the information? So all this should be clearly mentioned. And the third very important thing is the measures. Measures means what here? the variables on which we are collecting data. For example, if I'm studying about job stress or job satisfaction, right? So job stress and job satisfaction, I should identify which are the variables that measures job satisfaction, which are the variables that measures job stress. So these things I have to clearly define in my methodology part, right? So scales also have to clearly, whether it is a nominal scale, ordinal scale, or interval or ratio. All these things should be clearly defined, mentioned, expressed in the methodology part. And the procedure, this is what the process is, right? So process includes all that. What is your sample size? How you are identifying the sample, right? Then how are you collecting the data? Whether you are collecting primary data, secondary data, what statistical tests you are using, right? All these will be mentioned in the research methodology part. The procedure will just tell you the process, how you are, it will tell you the sequence that how you are conducting research. Right? Then in the third section, we will get the result. So once we collect the data, then we will process the data, right? And when we process the data, we will get the result, outcome of each test. I'm doing some ANOVA, I'm doing some regression, I'm doing SEM, right? I'm doing something else, okay? So when I'm doing that, I'll get output. So maybe I'm doing through R or SPSS or eViews or Stata. So Stata, these tools will just give you the results. So that result, I'm writing it here. Right? So I'm not telling anything else. I'm just putting my results here, nothing else. I should not interpret anything here. So it will explain what the important findings of the study. So I'm just mentioning here what are the main findings of my research work. And if necessary, okay, you can even mention tables and figures here. But most of the standard research journals will not expect you to put all the tables and figures in the body section. They ask you to put it in the appendix. If necessary, you can just mention here, no worries. Then you have to only report here results, nothing else. I'm telling you, you should not interpret anything else. We are just going to report, sorry, we are going to report only the results, nothing else. Right? So in this section, we are just writing the results of all the tests, whatever we are doing, all descriptive statistics or whatever, frequency analysis, results of regression, correlation, SEM, right, moderation effect, all these will be what put it here. But in the next section, what we do, we will discuss them, right? So in the previous section, we got the result. In this section, okay, a discussion and conclusion section, what we do, what it means, okay, I have got correlation 0.10 between job satisfaction and, negative job satisfaction and job stress. What it means for me and for others, for organizations, for employees. So that I'm writing here in the discussion part or conclusion part, right? So was the hypothesis supported by the results? So as I said to you in the beginning that, so when we start a research, there is a problem. Because of problem only we are doing research. But at the end, what we get, some information there, some output we get some information or output. Whether that information is addressing the problem or not, that we will discuss in the discussion or this conclusion part, right? Then why might the result have turned out that way? Suppose you get a proper answer for the problem, whatever you have set in the beginning. Okay, so you can clearly mention what would be the reason that I have got the result. Maybe it is because of the methodology I have used. Maybe it is because of the respondents I collected the information from, right? Maybe because I have used advanced tests, statistical tests. Maybe that is the reason why I have got that result. And also you have to clearly mention that suppose if you have not got a solution for the problem which you have set in the beginning, then you can just give some means and ways that how the future studies can be improved. Right? So maybe you might have gone wrong in terms of sampling part, you might have gone wrong in terms of data part, you might have gone wrong in terms of identifying problem itself. Right? So that can be rectified in the future studies, so that you can mention it here clearly if at all the results are not supportive, right? And here it will tell what are the findings mean. That's what I told you. Whatever we get the results, what the results infer, we are just writing inferences here. What the results means for the audience, for the society, right? And its implications, applications in the area of my study or related areas, right? So if at all I'm, that's what I told in the beginning, behavioral finance studies when I do. So okay, how it is applied in the real world, right? So how the SEBI can use, how RBI can use, right? How the investors can use, general investors, retail investors. So this you have to clearly, for whom it is going to be useful, right? And what your results mean for others, that you have to clearly discuss in this section, right? And also we should clearly mention what are the limitations. See, suppose if there are some limitations, every study will have limitations. That's what I told you. So that limitations part we have to take care of, and we have to mention under this section, and discuss the possible future research that is needed. That's what I told you here. If at all I'm not getting a required results, okay, after doing my research, I can just suggest some ways and means that how the research can be conducted in the future. So this should be clearly mentioned in the discussion part. And last one is very important again, references. References means what and all sources I have used, all the sources which I have taken from external stuff, that I have to clearly quote it here, mention it here. But there is a style, different style for that. So there are so many referencing styles, but in social science we follow APS style, nothing more than that, APS style. But for engineering, IEEE is there. So, but sometimes what we have to follow, what that journal, they expect us to refer the style, referencing style. That also I have to, the same thing we have to follow. So there are Vancouver style is there, Harvard style is there, right? So it's very simple. You can get it, online only. And APS style is there, MLA style is there, Chicago. Then we have IEEE. But in most of the social sciences studies, social science studies, we follow what APS style of referencing. For referencing of journals, referencing of textbooks, thesis, conference papers, newspaper articles, whatever information we are using, there is a format. That format only we have to follow. The format is what? The APA format, right? So if you just Google it, what is APA format, you will get how are you going to this. This also I will show you how you can do it in Word. Okay, you need not to worry about all this, but in the MS Word itself, I'll show you when you write research paper, how you can get your referencing for APA using MS Word. Then this is optional, but most of the researchers will ask you a list of abbreviations you have used, right? And if at all you are using a particular concept or particular word, many times throughout your research, better to use abbreviations. In that case, okay, if it is just used 1 or 2 times, then better you write full word, right? If at all you have used abbreviations in many places, then you can give a list at the end. And also there should be an acknowledgement. Acknowledgement will just, it's a thanking note given by the authors of this research paper to their college institutions for using facilities, and also statistician or whomever helped. That can be there. It's a small paragraph that can be included, and also appendices. So in this section, we give all tables, then figures, all the necessary information which we have missed out in the main body of the research paper. Right. So this is optional, but it is better to use all this. Right. So you may also ask me some general tips for writing a quality research paper. I'll quickly run through this one. So we should be as much as possible, we should be very concise in terms of whatever we are telling. Okay. Simply, we should not cook the story. Simply, we should not write the paragraphs and all. Whatever we are doing research, that only you should clearly mention. So you should be very concise and specific. Specific, why I'm mentioning it is very important thing, right? So most of the international journals, that too reputed journals, they look for concise information, clear information, nothing else. And when we write research papers, we should always write from the perspective of third person. So we have to write in the third, not first person, second person. You should forget about I, we, all, right? So we should write, writing in the form of third person. I cannot say that I surveyed 100 participants or 100 respondents in Mysore city. So that's wrong actually. So what in that case, what I can do, the survey was administered. The survey was administered to 100 respondents in Mysore city. So we should avoid this. We should clearly avoid using first person and second person. We should always write our manuscript, a paper or thesis using third person only. And this is again very important thing. So many people, even I used to be very confusing mode, in a dilemma mode, that whether I should write in past tense or present tense or something like that, right? But after I have gone through many sources, I came to know that what we should write in past tense and what we should write in present tense. And sometimes we write active voices in terms of active voices, in terms of passive voices, but that goes according to the context and situation. You see here, when we should write things in past tense. So when I'm referring prior research, it means for review of literature, we use past tense. And for results and observations that are made in my study, I use past tense, right? The results revealed, right? I found so and so. All this is what the past tense. I have to write it in terms of a past tense. For all previous research and results and observations that are made during my research study, okay, I use the tenses, okay. The tenses should be what? They should be in the past tense. And when we should use present tense. So when I mention in my research some general facts, okay, general facts when I make, so I'm going to use here present tense. And when the subject of sentence is my research, subject itself is my research, right? My research demonstrates, my research aims, our research aims, or this present research or current research aims at finding out solution for so and so. So when I want to mention that, I should always go for present tense itself. And also the interpretation part and conclusion part should be what in the present tense only. So this is what most of us, okay, including me, I'm telling, most of us make a lot of mistakes. But what standard research journals, they expect us to use tenses in our research paper is both past tense and present tense also, and also active voice and passive voice. But we go according to the context. I'm telling context and situations here. And when I'm referring previous researchers, obviously I use so-and-so person found or clearly mentioned or analyzed, suggested. So all this we have to mention in the past tense itself. And when I mention my results and observations made during my study, that also should be in the past tense only. And when we use present tenses, when we refer some general facts, when I write some general facts in my study, and when my research itself is a subject matter. So that case also I use present tense. And conclusion part and interpretation part when I write in my research So that should also be in the present tense mode. And next very important, write accurately about the research. So here, when I'm writing my research, I should write accurately. So it means correctly. I should write about research. So what it is, I should write. I should not write what it should have been. No. So you are not going to write anything like what it should have been, what it might have been. All those things you don't worry. So whatever research you have done related to that only you have to write in your research paper. Nothing else. What you tried to address, what results you have got, whether the results are matching the problem or not, means addressing the problem or not. That's all you have to write. And this is again very important thing. So we should always write research paper in APA format. See, APA format is not only for referencing. I'm telling you, it is not only for referencing part. So it is even for structuring part also. For structure, for research paper structure, there is a APA format. So in that format only we have to always write our research paper. Whatever it is, whether you write it for conference, whether you write it for any of the journal, you follow APA format. And many of the even experienced people are there, they might be knowing. So when I write my any of the tests result, so that also we should write in a APA format. So suppose I'm running an ANOVA here, two-way ANOVA, right? I get some result. So when I'm reporting that result, I should report that result also in APA format. There is a format for that. I cannot just write the way I want, right? So we should always use APA format for structuring, writing writing your results, and also for referencing part, right? Then use always peer-reviewed sources for research. So this is very, very important for all of us, I'm telling. So you know that whatever, if, for example, I'm doing some research in my area of research, behavioral finance, right? So I want to find out some sources of previous, I have to get some previous studies or research articles. What I do, I'll directly go to Google and I'll find out some research articles and I'll refer them. So do you think it is the right way of doing? No, it is definitely not. So we should always refer those research papers in our area of study which are published in peer-reviewed journals only. Please keep this in mind, right? So we should only use research sources or research articles which are published in peer-reviewed journals, right? So whatever Google throws, that you should not get. You know that in India, what is the fact? At least after UGC has given its list, now we have CARE list, right? Earlier there were so many thousands of journals, they used to accept papers. Even if you give garbage also, they used to accept paper and publish just for money, right? But now things are very different, right? So even Indian government is very serious. Even they have clearly mentioned in new education policy, right? So there is a huge scope for quality research, and quality research is recognized. So that's what people have stopped writing even some standard, poor research and all, but now everything is a standard research. And last thing is we should cite the sources, right? What and all information I have used from external, that I should cite. Cite means I have to quote. For example, when I'm writing introduction or review of literature, there I should clearly cite that particular source of information wherever I have collected from, right? So I think I have finished one part of our today's agenda, that is how to write a quality research paper. So far we discussed about what is research, what is research paper, right? What is the composition of research, then structure of research, that is the format of research. Every section we have discussed, okay, individually we have discussed, and I think I'm enough in terms of explaining each and every section, whatever we have discussed so far. So any questions so far? It will take another 5 minutes for me just to go through this. The next section is how to publish research paper. Right? So now we have written a best quality research paper. It's very simple now to publish the research paper. So what to do? That's what we have written a quality research paper now, right? So we have written a quality research paper as per the rules and regulations, the guidelines, right? So then we have to select a journal. Suppose I want to publish a research paper in International Journal of Finance. Okay, I will go to International Journal of Finance. Okay, I will look at their guidance. You have done your research work. You have done this. What is that? Introduction, then methodology, then results and discussion. You have got this. Anyway, this is what the main format of any standard research journal, research work, research paper. Once you are ready, then you go to a journal where you would like to publish. Okay, that you can, where you would like to publish and which journal you would like to publish. Then you refer their author guidelines. So every research journal will give some guidelines. So they have guidelines for authors for submission and all, right? So open that guidelines and go through that guidelines, and accordingly you reformat your research article, whatever you have written. The quality research paper you have already written, no doubt about it. But when you write, when you want to publish that quality research paper for in a particular research journal, you have to also follow their guidelines. It may be most 80% it will be same, okay, but only 10-15% or 10-20% there will be changes. So that changes you have to make according to their guidance. Then it is also better to discuss. It is also better to discuss your research paper before your submission with any of your peer member, faculty members, or some expert in that particular area, right? So once you prepare your research paper, you just ask for a review, right? You can just ask for a review from your faculty member, or maybe somebody who is expert in that particular area of research, right? So that is better before you submit, for the research journal. Then you submit your research paper to the journal. Then there will be a peer review process. Good journals always take time between, minimum 4 to 6 months. Okay, for first review, they will take minimum 4 to 6 months. If your paper is okay, they may ask you to, resubmit with some, modifications, right? Or if your paper is according to their standard, they will accept it at one go. It's very difficult to get our papers accepted at one go, but there will be some modifications they'll ask us to do. So then again we have to resubmit. So this process will take, okay, you will be shocked to hear if at all I mention that what is the process, what is the time period it takes for publishing in a good research journal, right? So if at all it is accepted, it may take even 1 year, 2 years. Telling you. So you have to wait for 1 or 2 years to get your research paper published in the best research journals in the world. That also I'll tell you which are best research journals, at least for commerce and management, and for other science and all. I think for science also I'll tell 1 or 2. Remaining just you can see. Then during a process, peer review process, you may get response, okay, reply. You have to reply it quickly for the comments from the editor. So when you submit your research journal to the editor, peer review process will start. It may take some time, 4 to 6 months. So the editor will respond. I mean, editor will send you any comments. So then you have to quickly respond to them. That's all. Then there will be a decision. The decision will be acceptance or rejection, right? So when they accept, so you'll be very happy. When they reject, they will tell you for what reasons your paper or manuscript has been rejected, right? So you can include those corrections and resubmit to the same journal, or you can submit it for other journal also. But when you are selecting a research journal, as I mentioned, there are so many research journals, right? So you have to choose the right one, which suits your theme of study or which suits your particular area of research. You cannot publish, finance research paper in marketing research journal. It should not happen like that. So first you should target what journal you are going to write a research paper for, right? And you should also follow their guidelines and also get some review from experts in the, your area of study, right? Then you submit it to the editor. Then review process will start, which may take 4 to 6 months or even a year time, right? And whenever you get some, email from editor, quickly respond. So when you get email, it may be for what some changes, or it may be what a rejection. That's all. So when you get a email from editor for changes, you quickly change it and submit it, right? So then they will accept it, and you'll be very happy for that. And they publish. So I'll just mention few of the best journals in the world. Okay, you have this list, FT50. This FT Financial Times. They have ranked the best research journals in the world. You can just Google this and get what are those journals. Okay, you target always these ranked journals, which are the best in the world, right? Don't go for substandard journals, which are which accept your research paper in 1 hour and publish in 15 days. They're all bogus research journals, but don't go for that. Even I have made a mistake. I'm telling, I'm frankly accept. Even in the beginning days, I have also made that mistake. But now, no, I don't publish in that kind of that kind of research journals. Then we have also another very important list of journals, ABDC, the Australian Business Deans Council. So they have given a list of journals. Okay, the list of journals, you can see that there are around 2,682 journals. Okay, they have categorized these 2,682 journals into four categories: A star journals, A journals, then B category journals, and C category journals. Right. So A star, there are 199. Just imagine 199 out of 2,682 journals. And A, then we have 651, B 650, and C there are around 982. That is 36% of your total journals, 2,682. So always try publishing research journals in these categories of in the ABC listed journals only, not others. ABDC, or it may be FT50. And we have another important thing is even our UGC has given, that is UGC Care Journalist. So only these three sources you can rely upon for finding out the best research papers for publication. So one is FT50, then ABDC, then we have UGC Care. So all these consortium will keep updating based on even the performance of journals. Okay, so you should have always an eye on the journals. So I think I am done so far. So I'll quickly show you one research journal which I have published in I think where it is. in Emerald. I'm sorry if I was very fast, but I wanted to finish it all those which I have planned for. So this is one of the research journals which research paper I published in International Journal of Social Science. This is it is in B category of that ABDC, whatever I've shown you, and it is a Scopus indexed, right? You see that the title, how many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words are there, right? Then you see authors and their affiliation. The corresponding author would be the first one only. And you see in the abstract, okay? In abstract, we have mentioned what is purpose, what is method, what are the findings, practical implication, originality. You see keywords, okay? The behavior, how many keywords are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keywords are there, right? Then introduction part, only the introduction part is there. You just see of 3-4 paragraphs. Review of literature, again 3-4 paragraphs. Then methodology and approach, just see. Then we have results and discussion. All these results and discussion inputs. Conclusions, limitations and acknowledgements. So you can see references, all it is in APA format. So appendix, you can see the statements used to collect survey data. Then we have the results data. I mean, the results, whatever we get here, correlation results and all graphs, figures, which we could not, and about the authors. This is one of the research papers which I have published in Emerald. Then I also wanted to show you sorry. Yeah. You see this, this is actually Journal of Finance, that the website of Journal of Finance. Here they have guidelines. So I just clicked on guidelines. You can see the submission guidelines and requirements. So formatting, how the formatting should be, then other stuff and all, they have submission fees. So probably for India, it is no fees because we fall in low income economies. So open access, all instructions will be there for the author. We have to follow. Every research journal will have guidelines for authors for submission. We have to follow. Otherwise, there will be rejection. Strong rejection will be there. Right. So I'm sorry, I think I was very fast, but I wanted to cover whatever I have planned to cover. I hope it was worth listening to me for about 1.5 hour time. If you have any questions, please, you can ask me now through comments section, or you can just unmute and ask who are there on Zoom application. And those who are watching me on, who are watching this session on YouTube, you can just, in terms of comments, you can ask questions.
So namaste, Kantesh sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, I collected few questions. They were shared through the chat box. Let me consider in question answer session. Shall I?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, please. Yes.
Yeah. Sir, I am very happy to tell you that most of the participants expressed or appreciated your presentation. The entire presentation was very simple and understandable. So let me congratulate for the same.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sir, one of the questions that is from Purni Shankar. They are asking to name the journals which is non-paid.
Whatever I have shown, this journal, so International Journal of Social Economics, and all these standard journals which I have shown you, they're all unpaid journals.
Yeah.
So all ABDC listed, okay, and we have UGC CARE whatever we have now. But better you all.
Yeah, sir, kindly. No need to mention the name you are saying.
No, because there are so many journals, even I can't remember, but I can just tell that list, ABDC list is there. Most of the ABDC list, UGC care list and FT50, they don't charge.
Yeah,
They expect, but only thing is the people who after publication, okay, after publication, if anybody wants your paper, okay, so you are giving a copyright to the journal itself. They will charge for that, but they don't charge anything for you. Okay, so that is one thing we should keep in mind.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. One more question, that is, what is the difference between research method and research theory?
Research method and research theory.
Research theory. That's the question asked by Hasmukh Panchal.
Okay, so research method is the way how you are going to conduct the research. Okay, so you are going to talk about here the data collection part. You are going to talk about here what is your sample. You are going to talk about how you are going to analyze the data, right? So all this will be your methodology. So this is a way, okay? So there is a way, in that way you are going to conduct a research. But theory is, it's already, research theory means it's already knowledge body which is already exist there. For example, behavioral finance is a theory. So on that I am doing a research. So it's a existing knowledge body, or it's a whole contribution which others have already done research and made a big knowledge body. So it's a result of so many contributors. It's a result of so many researchers' contribution, and on that I'm just working. So for example, we have here CPA. So many theories are there even in finance, right? They are all the result of so many people's research work. So I'm relying on that research and trying to make some new contribution, right? So in research, always there should be some back means we should have a support. These theories will support us when we proceed with research work.
Yeah.
So that is the main. Yeah.
Same person, his second question, and the same question was asked by Sahitya of Mangalore University. The question is how to select a topic for research. The basic question. I hope you answered that for the same in first part of your presentation. But can you tell 3 to 4 sentences?
The how we select, sir? How do you select? Okay, how we select a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Right? There should be some interest. There should be some love. Right? So it goes according to your interest in that particular research area. And another important thing is that area should be what? An emerging area, emerging area of research, right? And there is an immediate solution required for for that particular area of study, so that you can pick that kind of research areas for study. That would be better. One is you can go with your interest area, and second one is look for an emerging area in your study. For example, if you take in HR, now I was reading last week, a transformational leadership, right? Green HR. These are all emerging areas of research in HR. And also now we know because of COVID 2019, so e-learning has become one of the emerging. You can see that how feasible it is and how effective it is for both faculty members as well as students. It's relevant for present situation. So we should choose always topics which are relevant, okay, and it will always go based on your interest also.
Okay, sir. So one more question, that is from Krishna Bhatt. His question is, can you tell us various tools for interpretation?
Tools?
Yeah.
Tools, what tools he's asking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sir, I think maybe he's asking statistical tests. Okay, so I'll just tell, it may be for statistical tests or it may be the softwares for data analysis. I'll answer both of them. The statistical tests depends on what type of objective you have set. See, once again, I'm telling you, So we actually from broader view, we will come to narrow down, right? The broader, then we will narrow it down. The entire research study, what we are trying to do, we will narrow it down to a few research problems or a specific research problem. Every research problem will be converted into research objectives, and each research objectives will be converted into hypothesis, right? For each hypothesis, we will do one or the other tests, right? That depends on what you are trying to identify, right? So if at all you are doing relationship analysis, you can go for regression or correlation. If you are finding out differences, okay, then you can go for t-test, z-test, or it may be ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, right? So if you are building any of the model, right? Now we have a third generation regression. Third generation, first generation regression is OLS. Second generation regression is ANOVA, ANCOVA, MANOVA, so many ANOVAs are there. And third generation regression is SEM, right? But it purely depends on what type of research objective you have set, right? That is one part. And tools, if you are asking, okay, tools for data analysis, then it is there are so many. SPSS is there for psychometric study. I'm telling, if you are using the primary data, for primary data, this one SPSS is a better tool. And for secondary data, we always go with eViews or Stata. Even R is good for all type of data sets, whether it is a primary data or secondary data. But please, I did not understand your question, but I hope you I answered at least, whether it was, there was no any specific stuff in that.
Yeah, yes, sir. I have one question from Dr. Sunil B, but I hope he got answer in your second part of the presentation for the same. But let me tell the question. He's asking international journal rules and regulation for publishing the paper. I hope you answered it in the second part of your presentation.
Yes.
Yeah, and even his query in connection to the format for the international journal publication, that you explained by considering your own paper which was published.
Yes, IMRD.
Yeah. And even Rashmi B from she's one of the participants. Her question is regarding the usage of statistical software that too covered by you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Then you are asking your contact number for further consideration or guidance also. I hope you will share at the end. Then how to access UGC care list of journals? Sampurna, the participant, is asking this question. Can you tell us about the care list?
See, care list, you can just, Google it, you will get it.
Yeah.
Okay. See, for example, but you have to have an account on this.
Okay.
So you just Google it. Okay. UGC care list, there is a website for that. There is a consortium. Okay. There is a consortium for this. So they have a separate website. You just create an account, your own account you can create on that website. Then you will get an access. So you can search your research, you can search your research journals according to your subject, right? But you just see that you go to that website. I think I'll just tell you, UGC care list. There are two groups actually, one or two groups. One sec. You can see. So just go and create your research, account here. You log in. If you go here, you create your account, get into this, portal, and search the journal you want according to your subject. That's all. But you have to just, create an account on this UGC listed UGC care list. Yes, sir. Any other questions you have?
Yes, sir. Let me consider one question. That is from Veena Kumari. Can you please tell me about the YAML format?
MLA form, it is just a referencing style. Okay, it is just a referencing style. They will clearly tell, okay, that I wanted to show. Oh, correct. Let me share. See, even I asked you that this is a Word, okay, MS Word. I see there are different tabs. You see that file, home, insert, design, layout, and all. So if you go to references, okay, tab. So you will get here bibliography, then your citation. All these will be there. See, if you just go to here, manage sources. Okay, so manage sources means you are just here inserting what and all sources you have used. For example, I'll just give here a new source. So it will just whether are you using website, sorry, book section, journal article in a periodicals, conference proceedings, any of the report or website, right? Or whatever, there are different types of information that one can use for research. So if it is a journal article, you can just write here name, for example, Khantesh. I'll just write, I have another author. Okay, I'll just give semicolon and write Hari Prasad, right? Hari Prasad, right? And the title of the paper, what we both have worked, that you can give, journal name, where we have published, in which year we have published, then what is the page numbers of that article, 10 to 15 or something like that. And also, if you just click on this show all bibliography fields, you can also key in other things like volume, then what and all, volume, issues, and all those you can key in and just give OK. See, this, whatever you have created now, the source, it will just come and sit here, right? So I have already created few, I'll just show you. I'll take them here, copy and paste this side. Sorry. So when I am done with this, let me see that I have already finished all my research work. I want to write them according to MLA format or APA format, something. You see here the style. Under manage source, you have something called here a style. So there are different style. APA style is there, Chicago style is there, then GB 7714. Then we have here different Harvard style is there, IEEE style is there, right? MLA style is there. I'll just show you. So I have taken here 4 or 5 different this one sources. I'll just bibliography I'll take, references or bibliography, whatever references I'll just take. See, when I click this one, I'll get a references this. You see, this references is in APA format style. This you can do it at the end of your research paper. You need not to type, okay? You need not to type them all through. You just key in what and who is author, what is their paper, what is the issue, what is the year, journal name, all that you just keep it. So it is a source, it will give a source for you, right? That is a main source, master source. Then if you want to convert this into MLA style, you just choose MLA style. Now it has been converted. I think the only difference is that in MLA style and APA style is this year, for this, the year will come here for MLA style, and for APA, the year will be in the beginning itself. Like if I choose here APA, you see year will come here. And also APA will take your last name, so last name, then first name. But MLA will take full name. That is what it means. You can see. So, but better to use APA style for all of your research work, and you need not to do that individually typing everything. Just manage a source, master source file, and from that you can take. You see, I have a master style here, master source here. Whatever I have referred in my research journal, that I copy and paste it in the current list. Then I'll go and just take references. I'll just click here and I'll get in whatever format I have selected. The format is APA format or Chicago format. Engineering and science, they go with IEEE. They can select this one. Right. I hope I answered Hari Prasad sir, and also.
Yes, sir, you answered.
Okay.
Yeah, I considered most of the questions, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
The questions are like this, but actually, as per my knowledge, you answered for the same. If you are
Okay.
asking, can you please send the list of publishers, how to publish research papers, what are main things included in research quality paper? These are the questions for
Yeah.
which, you all already answered. I hope no need to consider again in question answer session.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
uh, Sir, shall we conclude? Do you have any conclusion remarks?
I don't have
Yeah.
anything else, but only
Motivational
one
message
you know.
to the upcoming researchers, because most of the youngsters are attending this particular YouTube live, sir, who are doing their post graduation, and few are there in the undergraduation studies, who are in their final year, who are going to do MCom or MBA and all. I hope your presentation reached them, or made a kind of clear-cut idea to consider the research paper in coming days. So if you have special message to the youngsters who are going to become the researchers shortly, kindly use couple of minutes.
See, only one thing what I can tell my all dear students who are there, okay, it is not just studying, okay, whether it is a UG students or PG students, it is not just studying whatever course you are doing there, BCom, BBA, or MBA, MCom, BSc, MSc, all, but better you should involve yourself in research work. See, there will be 6 semesters or 4 semesters. The only personal suggestion for all these students is that every semester, okay, with the support of teachers or anybody, okay, in the industry, better to publish at least one research paper. And you know that so many conferences also happen. So you target yourself by the time you complete your course. You will be having 4, 5, at least 5 research papers on your CV. So then the people how they look you will be very different, especially recruiters, right? And the study. I mean, when you are studying, you can when you involve in research work, your understanding level and the way you feel in terms of confidence will be very high. Okay, so that is one thing, and whatever I have done today, this is just a flavor. So flavor I have given, flavor of a particular food, a flavor of particular food. The food is like this, I have just told, but to experience this one, you have to involve in the research work. So for that, the interest and love towards your subject is very important, right? So you should not consider, doing a research is a force. UGC is forcing, or our government is forcing, or management is forcing. No, especially for teachers, my one suggestion and personal appeal is that we become a best teachers when we do lot of research work. Otherwise, we cannot go with the time and this particular bird. So with this kind, I think I'm not actually, mandatorily telling, but I'm telling you, if this is the case, stuff will be like this. Okay. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. I'm very sorry if I missed out something. You can keep in touch with me on my email ID and all I'll give. I'm so thankful to Hari Prasad sir and Varadaraj sir for giving me an opportunity, and all the participants. I hope the time whichever you spent here, 1 or 2 hours, was useful to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Kantesh Sanningamman. We are very much happy to see you virtually here. And definitely, I assure on behalf of all the participants, you made us to look research or research articles in a new way, or a kind of redefined participation of all of us in connection to the research. So special thanks from Department of Commerce and IQAC of Government Postgraduate College, Bettampady, for being with us as a resource person and for enlightening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be sharing my WhatsApp link. You can just.
Yeah, sir. Kindly. Most of the questions are coming right now also, but I'm due to the time constraint, I'm not considering all the questions of the participants. Definitely they will ask questions in coming days too, through your email ID or any other contact numbers. So kindly make us to get the same. So, and let me use this particular time. We reached last part of the national level webinar. I thank Dr. Kantesh Sanningamanavar on behalf of the institution principal and all the faculty members of Government First Grade College Betampadi, and also on behalf of the participants from throughout the nation who are the part of this particular virtual program. Just, thank you so much for being with us as a resource person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to use the person, I would like to thank the person who is behind this particular program, Mr. Sajjan. He is from Govindas College, Surathkal, who is supporting us technically. And
Yes.
Mr. Dikshit Kumar, he is from Government First Grade College for Women, Chikamagalur. Both of them are supporting this particular program, without whom it's not possible to find success in connection to this program. So thank you, Sajjan, and thank you, Dikshit Kumar. Yeah, I want to thank our principal, Dr. Varadra Chandragiri sir, for his guidance, and all the faculty members for their guidance. And special thanks to the participants for responding to our invitation and for being the part of this particular virtual program. Thank you, one and all.